Hello, this is Leo Maliksi from the Taiwan News newsroom. Taiwan is one of the world's most dynamic economies. It is the world's leading supplier of IC chips, laptop computers, liquid crystal displays, modems, and PDAs. It has one of the world's largest reserves of foreign exchange and gold. Shrewd economic management helped to insulate Taiwan from several financial crises. Our competitive advantages come from a strong adaptive ability, a culture of entrepreneurship, a skill at innovation and design, and a flexibility in satisfying the demands of their customers. But this dynamism could soon grind to a halt simply for lack of people due to Taiwan's plummeting birth rate. The problem is pressing enough for the government to establish an expert committee to study what kind of incentives would encourage Taiwanese to have more children. It wasn't always like this. Taiwan was under Japanese rule from 1895 to 1945. During those years, its population grew rapidly and continued on to the baby boom era of the 50s and 60s. In 1951, Taiwan's total fertility rate was between 6 and 7. When it joined the developed world in the mid-70s, its fertility rate started to decline. In 1984, it hit 2.1, the replacement level, and kept falling. It took us just 60 years to reach that turning point in the fertility rate, a former deputy minister of the Interior once told me during an interview. Last year, the rate went further down to 1.1%. In 1994, over 65s were just 7% of Taiwan's 23 million population. In 2005, they were 9.48%. By 2031, they will make up 15%. We have joined the ranks of aging countries, said the minister. Taiwan's over 65 group, reaching 15% of the population, is close to the 19% of some developed countries such as Japan and in Europe. However, it will take Taiwan just 27 years from 1994 to 2031 to reach that level, almost as fast as Japan, which did it in 26 years. The UK took 51 years, the US 66 years, Sweden 88 years, and France 131 years. This low birth rate and rapid aging of its population menace Taiwan's fast-growing economy. Taiwan's very competitiveness may be partly to blame for its declining population. In Taiwan's era of trading and commerce in the 70s, capital and know-how were inputs for economic development. But now, the electronics, biotechnology, and financial services industries are generating demand for new job skills. Parents tend to focus more on the quality of their children rather than on their quantity. But has this focus on children's quality really paid off? In 1999, the John Tong Foundation, an NGO that promotes understanding of health issues such as smoking, mental health, and organ donation, did a survey of depression. The results were startling. 53.4% of adults and 84.2% of young people had some signs of depression. Schoolwork, relationships, and exams were the main causes for the youth. In Changhua, Taiwan's third largest city, the incidence of suicides over the past decade has doubled. The Taipei city government has recently published a pamphlet entitled Respect Life. It was not a call to decrease the high number of abortions on the island, but an appeal to secondary students not to take their own lives. Did Taiwan make a mistake by promoting family planning that limited the number of children per family? Wouldn't it have been better to focus government policy on raising the economic level of the population instead of limiting it? The minister still insists that it was not a mistake. This was not a mistake, he said. Neither did other countries like Singapore or Thailand make a mistake in enforcing family planning. If we did not solve the problem of overpopulation, then any improvement in the economy would have been eaten up by a largely uneducated population. Our farmers then were having 4 or 5 children. But now that our low birth rate threatens our competitiveness, we need to deal with this situation urgently. Reversing the low total fertility rate is not simply a matter of implementing government policies. He said, we have to address the people's attitudes toward having children. This is Leo Maliksi from the Taiwan News Newsroom.